Okay, hey everybody, welcome to the SayGeizi. Let me get that. Let me get that light going. Good. Welcome to SayGeizi. This is my YouTube channel. I went through there you go, Haruko. I love Haruko. Very important for my upbringing as an otaku and anime fan. I I want you guys to comment. I want you guys to talk. I want to engage in conversation with you. I am pulling up a bunch of I'm pulling up just fire. This is the equivalent of like Fire Festival and like anime. Or at least it is to me. I don't understand what is going on. I don't know what is true. I don't know what is a lie. I am just kind of blown away and kind of freaked out because um, this is just some weird stuff that's happening. So yeah. So my name's Gazy, and there. Let me get all the stuff ready. I need a new couch, by the way. This is Say Gazy, and I host this channel on YouTube, and I'm a huge anime fan. I'm an otaku. I love watching anime. It's been a part of my life for a hot minute, and since it's been a part of my life, uh, for as hot of a minute as it has been, I've done otaku things. Okay, I've you guys can check out videos on my channel where I show you guys like my Funko Pops. I show you guys cosplay ideas. I talk about new developments, new directors, shows that are coming back, like FLCL, for example. All these things. I'm talking about anime because I love it. Another thing that I do is that I go to anime conventions. And I love going to anime conventions. Which anime conventions have you guys gone to? I have to talk like that, and it's not genuine and it's not honest, but I still have to because internet rules. Vic Mignogna has just been dropped by Roosterteeth, and he's no longer being a part of Ruby. And I just pulled up that news. It happened for me. It happened like at 8 p.m. or 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm gonna share with you the report because I saw it come up on what's the website called Anime News Network. So if you don't follow Anime News Network, you can go ahead and follow Anime News Network on Twitter. I think it's like at anime. They were able to get that. So congratulations for getting at anime. But it goes, Vic Mignogna is no longer a member of Ruby Cast. Multiple convention appearances canceled. Mignogna issued an apology at Back Anime. The Back Anime apology that Vic Mignogna did is online. It's on YouTube, and I will give you my 2 cents after some reporting stuff. Production company Roosterteeth, and I love Roosterteeth. Roosterteeth actually puts up my favorite channel, Funhouse. I love watching Funhouse. I'm not a Screw Attack. I do watch Death Battle. I'm not a Ruby fan specifically, but they dropped Vic Mignogna. And the report goes that production company Roosterteeth reached out to Anime News Network on Mondays to issue a statement regarding voice actor Vic Mignogna's role in the animated series. And the report is that effective today, Vic Mignogna is no longer part of the cast of Ruby, and Roosterteeth is ending all associations with Mignogna. This will not affect the creative content of Ruby. Report goes on and says Mignogna voiced reoccurring character Crow Branwyn in the series. Roosterteeth did not announce who will replace him. Rooster Teeth's statement comes in the wake of allegations leveled against Vic Mignogna as a voice actor. Last month, he's a 56-year-old voice actor. He was accused by a number of convention attendees of kissing and embracing them without consent over the course of his career, with some allegations that date back to 2018. So it's not that it's not that it's not that it's like atrocious and horrible. Okay, that does okay. It happened in 2018, and I think context needs to be added here. But first, let me look up this Crow, because I don't know Crow Brandwen. Is that the guy that looks like? Okay, that's him. Okay, so all right, yeah, he looks like an interchangeable dude. All right, Vic Mignogna. He came to fame. He rose to fame with a couple animes that you may or may not have been watching. It's a Full Metal Alchemist. He was Edward Elric. I didn't watch this one show, but he was an Oran High School, Oran High School Club as Tamaki or Tamaki. There you go. I'm forgetting. And Dragon Ball Super Broly. I think all of this is like rising up because people were looking at the new Dragon Ball Super movie and they were like, I want to know what's going on. Who's the voice of Broly? If you're not really into anime, if you just jumped into anime, you don't know that Vic Mignogna voiced Broly. So I'm gonna take this up. I'm not gonna like place my verdict, but I want to talk about all of this stuff. And then I'll get back into the news part of it. When I first heard of Vic Mignogna, I found out about him via Adult Swim, watching Full Metal Alchemist, and at that time I didn't know how important voice actors were, especially to the fandom of anime. And I was just getting involved into the anime scene. I wasn't necessarily an otaku yet because I was just watching anime through Adult Swim on Cartoon Network at 12 in the morning, like all the other people who are kind of like me. So I'm watching Full Metal Alchemist. I'm loving it, and I'm loving it. And then the Conqueror of Shambhala movie comes out, and I'm loving that. And then I first learned about anime conventions. I'm like, what are anime conventions? People are telling me other anime conventions are pretty awesome, that people get dressed and that they look like their favorite characters, and that stars go to these anime conventions. And I'm like, what do you mean stars? They're like the voice actors, the people who voice the characters, they show up. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And they're like, yeah, you can get their autographs, you can say hi and everything. And this was before, like at the time I didn't have that much internet access, I guess, or I didn't know about like cosplay. I didn't know about these subgenres that ended up just becoming what they are, because like if you're outside the loop and you're trying to get in, well, it's kind of a hard it's hard to get involved into this. It's hard to get into the scene when you don't know where the scene is. So, like the first anime convention that I ended up going to, I believe it was one of the biggest ones here. It was MegaCon, and then MegaCon is in Central Florida, and that was the first one that I went to. And believe it or not, Vic Mignogna was there. I was kind of blown away. Uh, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything. And I go to some of his panels and I find out he's a Christian dude. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. I'm Christian too. I didn't know that voice actors can, and I didn't, like I think I saw him in passing, and he told me about, he was sitting at a simple table with Caitlin Glass, and they were just being chill, and there wasn't this much pandemonium going on back then. And he told me about how he did he did a reenacting of, I believe, the Book of John, and he did voices for all of like the main biblical characters in the book of John in the Bible story. And so when that happened, I was like, this is incredible. And then I just got hooked onto the scene, and I started following anime. I started following anime a lot more. I made my own anime music videos. I did that, AMVs. I went to anime conventions, and I tried to get involved into the scene as much as possible. And that was kind of the end of that story. Vic Mignogna continued on making shows, and yes, yeah, I kind of did see. I think everybody has a Vic Mignogna story, and mine was that. Well, yeah, I did see him. Um, I did see him, and he was very friendly. He was very cool. He was very gay, and by gay I mean like happy. Don't. Let's be careful and like he was very convivial, very genial, um, very gregarious, very awesome, um, and it was awesome. It was just really great. I ended up joining the Risen Bull Rangers, and I didn't. I mean, it was like time happens, life happens, and you start to go to like college, and you get involved in careers and work and business, and you get involved in these kinds of types of ventures. And that's what I did, and that's what I had to do because life happens, right? And so I stopped kind of caring about anime and what like voice actors. I'm like, okay, they're going to be there. Okay, how much do I really want to see them, or would I rather go to see this mega awesome concert? Well, I always went to the concerts instead. So Vic Mignogna, I saw him a couple times afterward, but this was when I grew up, and I don't think he recognized me. And of course, I recognized him, but of course, he probably didn't recognize me. And I saw him in passing, and I said, "Hey," and then it was all in passing. And there was a presentation that he was kind of trying to focus on people who paid to see him. Now you got to stop there, and you got to be honest and be cognizant, because voice acting, you do it to get money, and you go and do anime convention appearances to get money. This is the business for these voice actors. They're not Hollywood actors. Kerry Walgren has been able to make a good transition from voice acting to, well, because there you go, Kerry Walgren. She was able to do a good transition into voice acting and into Hollywood to the best of her ability. And now it seems that Hollywood actors and voice actors are entering into gaming, and that's where they are. So I recognized that, and I noticed that about the way he began to comport himself, and I was like, "That's cool," because guess what? I'm already in my mid-20s now, and things I guess are kind of different. Um, Earlier on, uh, I noticed that Vic was very uh, he was close, and the reason why Vic was so close to and you gotta don't be ignorant to it. Vic was very close to these people, these kids, these young adults, because most of those kids and young adults who were showing up to his appearances, they had casts, and there were some actual things that was going on in their personal lives. Um, and that touched Vic's heart because it touched everybody's heart. I remember how many pictures are online of Vic being with people who are dressed in cosplay that actually have a prosthetic. There are tons of pictures online of that. So Vic did those things, and he was close because the environment that he was in, um, it was filled with people who saw that Edward Elric was a hero that they could glomp onto. Now, I use the word glomp because if you're not in the anime scene, you don't know. Glomping is when you just run up and just hug somebody at an anime convention. Now, when you do that, back then it was a thing. And the problem is that the things of the past aren't necessarily the things of the future. And I and Vic is being called out. He's, you know, getting called out by society. He's getting called out by the news. He's getting called out by everything that's going on because um, it wasn't cool for him. So like I used to like I remember people glomping onto me back when I went to an anime convention, but I did see that Vic was like close to people, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna presume or make an assumption about anything that Vic may or may not have done um, in his personal life, in his private life. These things that he says that he's struggling with. If I let's pop up let's pop it back up. It's kind of creepy because there are some fellow voice actors that were talking about the issue. Monica Rial, she was also on Oran High School. She was also on Oran High School, and she posted an image on her Instagram with the text, "I believe in support survivors," and this was on January 31st. And Alex Moore and Aaron Roberts also shared supportive messages. Um, this goes on. Let's see, Alex Moore, he wrote, I believe survivors, it's 2019. There's nothing to gain from coming forward except peace, sometimes not even justice. Um, Women who speak out about sexual assault and harassment are reliving those moments. By doing so are brave. Bottom line, we have to do better. Believe women. um, there's like this there's like this tone of all the sorts of isms that could be like rising up to make a declarative statement, and feminism is like one of those things. And okay, so the scene that could be set is like there's a young lady in a crossplay or a gender swap, or maybe she cosplayed as Winry, or she's cosplayed up, and let's say Vic is hugging her. Some of the ways that he hugged people was awkwardly awkwardly done. There was one account that I read where he hugged he hugged a young lady like underneath the shirt around the waist. That's kind of weird. Um, in this one article that I'm reading, there's a guy named Neil Kaplan, and he's once again, this is Anime News Network, and they're talking about it. Neil Kaplan shared his own story about how Mignogna mounted him without warning at, guess what, MegaCon 2008, and by 2005 I graduated high school. So 3 years after, this was around by the time I was there. Um, and he shared a video of so I might even see myself in this thing, which is very creepy. He writes, "Why is it embarrassing? Well, the dude pressed his junk on the back of my neck. I felt violated, and upon further review, I realized that instead of a handshake, the dude mounted me. He didn't know me, and he mounted me. Remember glomping? Like, I guess you don't know nobody when you're glomping them, but in today's litigious society, you cannot do something that's like will garner that much attention." So he mounted me. I tried to write it off and make a joke, but it was vile and rude. But he was popular, and so what was I gonna do other than let it go and move on? Let's see if I can pull. I don't know. This is and this video. And this is Neo Kaplan. All right. All right. So in the video, that was 40 seconds of the 1 minute and 41 seconds of what happened. And all credit goes to Neo Kaplan, who shared his story. And you can find that video online. From what I just see, it says MegaCon dash Vic takes, I guess, takes a ride or something. And the YouTuber or the credit name for the person is Neo Kaplan. And I'm going to read his quote once again. Why is it embarrassing? Well, the dude pressed his junk into the back of my neck. I felt violated, and upon further review, I realized that instead of a handshake, the dude mounted me. He didn't know me, and he mounted me. Uh, I tried to play it off and make a joke, but it was vile and rude. But he was popular, and so what was I gonna do? Then let it go and move on. Reading further, Stephanie Shea, she was the voice of Eureka from Eureka 7, one of my favorite all-time top 5 animes. She followed up on Twitter and she shared the article from Anime News Network on Twitter and followed up with a tweet about negative reactions she received from sharing it, even without a personal attachment. Voice actor DC Douglas posted a longer thread, and Caitlin Glass, and this is the thing that's like mega, because Caitlin Glass is a known Christian in the voice actor community. Caitlin Glass shared biblical scripture that's John 1:8-10, which talks about confessing sin and receiving God's forgiveness. And this is big stuff. This is big stuff. Since the allegations came to surface, all but 5 of Mignogna's 2018 convention appearances scheduled for 2019 are canceled. Mignogna was at Backfest convention on Bakersfield, California. So it's back anime, and he apologized, but he didn't necessarily like make mention of what he did or what he did wrong. So I guess the question at hand for all anime, for all otaku that are going to any anime convention, the main question is, at what point is it too much? So there's been, of course, like your people who take pictures, and you need to take a picture with consent. People talk about that. There are so many Twitter pictures on Instagram. You have to get consent with all these people who do cosplays. That's fine. There was a time before all of this ideology of that's filled with fake courtesy or honest courtesy, like back in 28 back in 08 and 05 and that era. I remember someone asking me if they could spank me with a yaoi paddle, and that was crazy and it was funny, and I said yeah, and because it was funny, and it was in between even level anime fans. I guess the big thing is that Vic Mignogna is not a basic anime fan. He is a voice actor, and it seems that the status quo or the expectation level is that he should not have been acting like that. But if you watched the video, if you've seen Vic Mignogna, and comment in the comment section if you've seen Vic Mignogna in an anime panel, you will see how the crowd reacts to him, and it's not cool. And I'm not saying that he's a pedophile, and I'm not saying this. I'm not saying he's a pedophile. I'm not saying he's a child molester, pedophile. I'm not saying that he has sexual problems. I'm not saying that he's a pervert. I'm not saying any of that. But there's a weird dynamic that happens when a crowd of people in an anime panel are just are at your beck and call, and you are up there, and you're just sharing. You're making money off of something that is biological. Now, this is why athletes get in trouble. Kobe Bryant, for being such an amazing basketball player, he messed up with one chick, and she was after him, and he paid his wife million, like he got her like I think a $10 million ring or something like that, to keep her and to apologize and to apologize and to apologize and apologize. Vic Mignogna made his money uh, based off of his voice. Now, some people can have the talent and they can adjust their voice and all that kind of stuff. They can do that, but some people are born with it. I don't know if Vic Mignogna is born with it or not. Point is, this is something that naturally comes from him, and there could be a sense of ego. There could be a sense of arrogance. I don't know how many voice actors are arrogant. Maybe comment in this thing, but those crowds of panels, and I've been a part of Vic Mignogna panels. They love him. They want him to say all the lines, and they would go crazy. If you've seen Vic Mignogna in anime conventions, he dresses like a rock star. He straight up dresses like a rock star. He wears like designer jeans, he wears a designer shirt all the time, and he was cool. He would be personable. But like I mentioned before, when I was around 25, 27, and I was going and I saw him, um, I didn't pay, of course, to stand in the line, but there was a slight aversion from myself to those who paid. So where am I getting at now? What I want to talk about now is another Anime News Network report, and this is from Anime News Network, and I think they're at Anime on Twitter. And the topic is Far From Perfect. Fans recount unwanted affection from voice actor Vic Mignogna. Goes and says, hundreds of thousands every year, hundreds of thousands of anime fans flock to conventions. The reasons are varied. Mornings, assembling racks and decorations for artist alleys, the cosplay masquerade, the anime rave that would happen. And they go from panel to panel and all this stuff. The the part of the report I want to read comes as with any claim involving a person with a moderate fan following, and Vic Mignogna probably has around 50,000 fans, more or less. Supporters were quick to attempt to discredit individual claims. Jay, so they're leaving this person anonymous, was approximately 14 years old, and I think this is the main report that is garnering so much attention and like in the anime circle. Says Jay was approximately 14 years old when she attended New York Comic Con, a big con, in 2014, and she met him, and she says that she was very uncomfortable. I said about this before. She discussed how the voice actor put his hand underneath her zip-up sweater and on her waist for the initial photo. Then, thinking that the photo taking portion was done, she was surprised when he asked her to look towards the camera again, and this is what happened. And all credit goes to this young lady, because this is the young lady's picture, and then the second amount of credit goes to Anime News Network. So this is the picture, and you can see that Vic Mignogna's hand is where it is. That's when he put his face close to hers, and then he kissed her. These are the two pictures once again. and it's titled Jay Posing with Mignogna. And this is the main report, and it's kind of leaving. I'm speechless because this is crazy. There it's kind of weird pose, and then at the bottom when he's kissing her, once again, all credit to the picture goes to the young lady whose initial J, and it also goes to Anime News Network. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of other people who are reporting the same thing. They would agree and would unexpectedly find the voice actor kissing their cheek or pulling them in for a tight hug or a photo op. This is Taylor at Colossal Con in 2013. Once again, Vic Mignogna looking like a hardcore rock star. The way he dresses. It says that she was feeling ill. She got up that morning, decided to go to the convention. She wasn't an avid fan. Not many of the people who go to anime conventions are crazy fans like I was. Vic told her that she was adorable. If she wanted a photo, she said, why not? He hugged her and then proceeded to kiss her face. He embraced her for a photograph, and the moment was over. Said he hugged her. Onlookers cheered, and it says that she identifies as queer. And there's just there's just a lot.
Hi there, welcome to the Risen Blue Rangers. I'm so glad you decided to join us, and I think you're going to have a great time here. The people are so much fun. They're the best people in the world. They're the best people in the solar system. In the universe. There's so many fun things all around the site.
If you don't know, like I said, if you don't know who the Risible Rangers are, it used to be a fan page on Yahoo. I remember I joined the Risible Rangers when I first started going to anime conventions, and I got like news things and all that stuff. And then it became this other kind of thing. It started off in Yahoo fan pages, but then it kind of blew up. And if you joined, this is something that you were here.
Great job, and you are most welcome here. So have a great time. Maybe we'll get to catch up and chat a little bit in the chat rooms or on the forum. So from me to you and the rest of the gang, welcome to the Risen Bull
Rangers. There's nothing bad essentially about that. So now from going to Yahoo, now they are a Discord group, Risen Bull Rangers. And I can just I can, because it gets bad. A lot of the stuff, it kind of gets bad. I mean, Vic, he released an apology on Twitter, where he goes and says, homophobic, no, some of my dearest friends are members of the LGBTQ community. Anti-Semitic, I couldn't even grasp where this was coming from. Finally, any allegations of sexual harassment, pedophilia are completely, utterly false. I have no words. And this is all according to a tweet that he wrote in January. So one of the things that he's reporting on is that Jewish fan, his work on Persona 3 left his autograph line feeling judged. The 19-year-old who's Jewish lined up with a replica of Mignogna's hat, or Junpei's hat, for Mignogna to sign, and grabbed a copy of his fan music CD. When their turn came, Mignogna asked them why they chose the fan music CD but not any of his Christian music. When I went to the anime convention in MegaCon, I remember buying one of his Christian music CDs because I kind of felt guilted into it, even though I'm a Christian. It wasn't necessarily the best music either, but it was, I guess. The fan apologized and stated that they were Jewish. According to them, Mignogna stared at them up and down and said, well, we can change that. I couldn't believe that he would say something like that to me. I wasn't trying to be rude by telling him my religion. I was trying to answer his question. I ended up grabbing the CD and the hat without his signature and apologized to him and just bolted out of the signing line. You can read the rest of the article on Anime News Network, and it's under interest. And so where do I want to end this? What I like the is Vic Mignogna a pedophile? I guess is the first question. I don't know. I don't know if he's a pedophile or not. Has he done pedophilic things? Yes. Has he done inappropriate things? Yes. Have other voice actors possibly done similar things? Yeah, I think it's true. There's some voice actors. There's some voice actors who go to conventions. I know this one. I remember Spike Spencer, who did the voice of Shinji Ikari at this one anime festival, Florida Anime Experience. I remember Spike Spencer was talking about this after party for over 18-year-olds. And he would, and he was talking to this one, I remember, and that was pretty weird. So, like, is this this is weird. All of this was very weird. I think if he did stuff, he needs to confess. There are two parts of it, and I'm not trying to be biased because I'm Christian. There are two parts of this whole thing. The one part is him confessing what he actually did, and I think there's this other part that is more of a commentary. There's photographic evidence. There's photographic evidence. There are very detailed witness accounts. I don't know. What else do you do? What else do you do? I don't think there's much he could do. But the other side of the coin involves the idea of voice actor fame, voice actor culture, and fandom, because the fandom with this is why I stopped going crazy at anime conventions. I straight up stopped because some of these voice actors were asking for $45 to $60 for an autograph and picture and a thing and a thing and a thing. They were asking for, and I'm like, I don't want to shell out that much money. I mean, I enjoy your art, but I can enjoy your art without having to enjoy you. Like, that's kind of, I'm just saying it's kind of weird, but yeah. So that's one. And but some fans just go, I don't know if they do it anymore. I think the fandom for anime conventions is no longer about like going crazy for Todd Habercorn or somebody, or Monica Rial, like, or like Tommy, the guy who does David, what's his name? Jason David Frank. Like, Jason David Frank is another one that it could, like, I'm not saying he did anything, but his type, he has a fandom of people who go crazy for Power Ranger oriented fandom or mystique or memorabilia. That's JDF's thing. Power Rangers, Power Rangers, Power Rangers. Goes crazy. If you follow him on Facebook, if you follow him on Twitter, if you follow him any other way, Jason David Frank is always White Ranger, Green Ranger, White Ranger, Green Ranger. Anything that talks about Power Rangers, he tries to be the face of it because the dude makes money. He is a black belt martial artist. Jason David Frank is that type. However, Jason David Frank has not placed himself in positions that are inappropriate with fans. And because there are no evidence that people are not talking about Jason David Frank the way that they talked about Vic Mignogna. Did Vic Mignogna fail to comport himself in the way that a voice actor should have? Possibly. At the time, um, I think people need to like realize that voice acting was in its infancy. No one is listen. Anime getting dubbed started from like the late 80s and continued onward. And a lot of these voice actors that you know today that are on all these big anime productions that are on today, they were all inspired by guys like guess who? Vic Mignogna. They were inspired by that guy um, because of his roles. Full Metal Alchemist, when it came over here, it was huge. It was monumental. So the fame and the fandom got to him, and stuff happened. Um, I think the part of the fandom that affected Vic Mignogna the most, the part of the fandom that affected him the most was the heart wrenching stories. If you watch on the YouTube video, it's Vic Mignogna apologizing back anime. So it was a BAK anime convention in California, and Vic Mignogna is addressing this thing. And if any anime convention gets him again, well, he's going to be doing this apology tour left and right because according to Anime News Network, he's not getting work any like in 2018. He's not getting any work. So this continues. Vic was heavily affected by the fans, and it's like don't blame the fans. Don't blame the fans. Um, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about fans who were guilty. I'm not talking about fans who there are people. I think you need to admit it. And I'm not saying the fans were kids. Um, but there are people who go and target celebrities and they target celebrities to screw them up and to make money off of them through lawsuits and whatever. None of these kids in the videos and the pictures that I just showed you were those types of kids. Let's set the record straight. However, Vic Mignogna, when he did panels, when he was at conventions, when he did signings, he had kids with prosthetics. He had people who were emotionally drawn to Edward Elric and to the struggle of people losing their lives, of brothers and heartache, and he was inundated with this issue. It was an assault on the guy's senses. I'm not blaming him. I'm not guilty. I'm not fighting. I'm just talking about the topic here. Would such an assault on the mind and the heart of a person cause that person to act in a way that is close, um, that is sympathetic or empathetic to that audience? Yes, yes. From Vic always took pictures with these fans. He was always trying to help out those kids. Whenever a kid showed up in a wheelchair or crutches, he was always sympathetic with them and he cried with them and he talked with them. Always, always. So that happened. Vic was affected by the fandom. And lastly, is Vic doing something that we don't know? I don't know. What does his browser history look like? I don't know. I know he's married, but that's all I know. What is he? Is he a pedophile? Is he sexual assault? Does he have a criminal record? XYZ, this, that, and the third. I don't know. But that's, like I said, he has to come out to the fandom about that. But at this moment, people are leaving the dude. Roosterteeth just dropped him from Ruby. Anime conventions are dropping the dude, and I think this may be it, and this sucks. This sucks. If Vic Mignogna, who clearly has voice talent, the guy is clearly talented with voice acting. If the, this is Fire Festival for anime fans, and no one is looking and thinking about it. He is one of the pinnacle voice actors of for the past 20 years. He's on a Mount Rushmore, and he's going down, and it's okay. So either he's a pedophile or he's not a pedophile. Okay, so either he is or he isn't. Now, if he isn't a pedophile, and if he isn't those things, is he still guilty for doing the things? If he's not a pedophile, let's just try to look at this in the most optimistic way, because because we're human beings, for goodness sake, and let's not want to do anything. If he is not a pedophile, he do things that he wasn't supposed to do? I think we all can agree, because there is like evidence, picture evidence. There's picture evidence of him putting his hand up underneath a girl's shirt to take a picture. There's video evidence of him like mounting this dude from behind, and that's on YouTube, and I already gave it the credit. You're just gonna have to go back in the live stream to watch the video and watch the credits that I gave it to. So is he guilty of all those things? Yes. So he's guilty of those things. Is he gonna suffer because of it? Yes. Now, I don't agree in witch hunt. I mean, there is truth. There's video and photographic evidence, and the reports are like not from like the reports are not from women who are like, he slept with me, he did this, he did that. No, the evidence is from kids, and I'm not saying that he slept with them. I'm not saying that. The evidence is there. So yes, he did some stuff, but to be like he should never work in voice acting again? Are you serious? Let's stop right there and talk about that. How many people, how many millionaires, owners of corporations, go around doing things left and right? I mean, we got a president who is guilty. He's guilty of it, of sleeping with this, paying off prostitutes, and doing so much garbage nonsense, and he's president. Like, for someone to say this guy's life should be ruined for the rest of their life. Look, that's what prison is for. That's what jail is for. That's what incarceration is for. If you being guilty in the eye of the public, that's so much perception. Because if you're guilty in the court of law, which requires facts, once again, there are facts, there are pictures, and it's sad. It's sad. But in the court of law, nothing has been brought up against this guy. Should Vic Mignogna continue to voice act if he can get the job? Well, I think so. If he's good enough, if Vic Mignogna is good enough to get to voice the character, then he should get a job, because that's what you pay people to do. This is more of a commentary about voice actors and fame than it is about pedophilia, sexual harassment, anything else. You could be too big, or you could think you are too big. Voice actors, sometimes they think they are the biggest. They think they're the biggest thing. Like, listen, dude, you're asking me for 50, 40 bucks for a picture with an autograph, a handshake, maybe a hug, maybe a hug. Maybe you answer a question of mine at a round table or something like that. I just shelled out 30 some odd dollars or for a day pass, or most anime convention goers, they shell out 100 something dollars for VIP accesses to go to their favorite anime conventions. And I want to buy swag when I get there, dog. When I go to the dealer's room, I'm trying to buy cool gear. I'm trying to buy Figmas. I'm trying to buy my FLCL Haruko, like Funkos. I'm trying to do that. And you want me to give you 40, 50 bucks for a picture of you. I mean, I meet you and I see you and it's great, but no. Sometimes voice actors, I know they're trying to get their money. I know that. Once again, don't blame the artist for wanting to get paid for their art. But there comes a point. There comes a point where you have to distinguish the artist from the art. Okay, and this is where voice actors mess up all the time, because they think they're one. They think they are Edward Elric. They think they are Shinji Ikari. They think they are Renton Thurston. They think they are Goku. They think they are Broly. They think they are Vegeta. They think they are these roles. You're not. You are a voice actor, and this is the art. This is the thing. I want to watch Goku. I want to do these. That's where I want. If anything, like, my favorite voice actress is like a 50, 60-year-old Japanese woman who voices the voice of Goku. That's who my favorite voice actor is. A grandma who voices Goku overseas. She is more closely related to the art than the artist is. She can make a claim that they're like this. But the problem with today is that the voice actors, they think they are that. And then they get this puffed up ego and they get a little bit arrogant, and then they want this, they want that, and they want a third. I have a couple friends, and I won't mention them because I don't want them to get doxxed. But I have a couple friends who they control, they host, they're involved with the planning of talent for conventions, anime conventions. And there have been things said about Vic Mignogna and about some voice actors in general about how they require this, that, third. And it's like, so the one of the problems that Vic Mignogna faced is that fame, his fame. Did he let it get the best of him? I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Okay, look at it. So I don't know what you do for a living. I know what I do. I don't do much, not yet, at least. I don't know what you do for a living, but you want to get paid for what you do for a living, right? And I think everybody's struggle in life is trying to find out what they do. What is that one thing that they do that is unique and different than what everyone else does, and could they make it a lifestyle? Everybody wants to make what they do a lifestyle. There has been an upsurge of businesses because people are just getting more creative and more creative. People are developing apps, people are writing books, people are entering into small business ventures for the craziest things. People are making buttons. People are developing apps. People are making small movies that they're promoting, and they're getting funding via all of these like crowdfunding sources online. They're getting money and they're making their talent profitable. If you are born, if you're a freak beast like LeBron James, you play basketball, yeah, dog, I am going to give you $400 million for the next, like, give me 15 years and I'll give you $400 million. They lock you down because you're naturally talented like that. Do voice actors, they can they make it as actors? Possibly. Not necessarily, but it's possible. And did Vic Mignogna try to make that jump? I think he did. There are some things that he did. I think he was doing some Star Trek. Um, he did some things with Star Trek. He got on Rooster Teeth, and the reason this video is talk about how that Rooster Teeth dropped him because of all these allegations and the bad press that they might possibly get. And it was bad press because guess what just happened? Rooster Teeth just got Michael B. Jordan to voice a character in one of their new, I think it's Gridlock, and it's something that they're doing and they're promoting on Rooster Teeth. So they dropped him for bad possible press. So is he guilty for, trying to make money from his talent? No, man. He's just trying to make money. He's trying to make a living. He's trying to do his best like we're all trying to do our best. However, when you have pictures like this, I don't know what you can do. And once again, I credited this picture before, so I'm not going to say it. I'll say it again. The picture belongs to a person named Jay, and it's being uploaded on AnimeNewsNetwork.com. Here, Vic's hand is underneath her shirt. He's close ish, and I think this young lady said that she was queer or is queer. I'm not going to make a statement, but I think she said she was queer, and boom, he goes for the kiss. What do you want? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? The anime fandom, and with this, I'm on the stream because there hasn't been any like talk. Maybe I don't know if I messed up my comment section. Oh snap! There was comments. Snap! Oh shoot! So I apologize. Live. All messages are visible. I apologize if I didn't get to your comment because I didn't think I had any comments coming in. This guy named K-Chan Cosplay says it's not fair. He was one thing that helped me in my darkest time. Michael Jackson did some bad crap. That is just one thing I can think of. Yes. It's not. And I'm K-Chan Cosplay. I am not talking about something. I'm not talking about his ineffectiveness in your life. I'm not talking about that. I'm glad he helped you because guess what? You're not the only one he helped. He helped me too. He helped a lot of people who are watching his shows. So you're not the only one who is saying that he was not cool. You're not the only one who's saying that he was there in their time of darkness. Everybody is saying that. Everyone agrees. He was, as a Christian myself, he was representative in my faith in a time where I didn't think there were Christian voice actors because anime, hentai was always a thing. And it just seemed that hentai started to grow and grow and grow more and more fan service anime shows during the early 2000s, more and more fan service shows were showing up more and more and more, and it was like, geez, where is it? Can I have one show or one voice actor who is a clean person who shares my beliefs and shares my thoughts? Vic Mignogna was that for me. So K-Chan, I'm glad he helped you because he helped me too. The argument here is is should be placed on both parties. And let's go very specific. I'm going to blame Vic and I'm going to blame the fandom. And listen to me when I explain the fandom. I'm going to blame Vic because he inappropriately touched, inappropriately did things to fans, whether it was a pedophilic intention or whether it was an unconscious an act. Let's be cool, bro. Either he's a pedophile or or he did something that he wasn't supposed to. Could be both. Could be both. He could be a pedophile and do bad things. But either he's a pedophile or he did something that he wasn't supposed to. And because we don't know his personal life as far as sex, maybe there should be investigation done. Maybe maybe the FBI needs to fall down and crack down on the dude's web browser. And I think that's something that should be done. Crack down on his web browser, crack down and figure out if he's doing bad things. Right? I think we can agree that's a good thing to do. If in fact he's doing pedophilic things. The other side, remember, because there's Vic, there's a fandom. I think I'm going to place the blame on you and me and the fandom. Because there's something called group think. And when one person, and some people might call it the mob mentality, and you can merge the two ideologies and you get a very horrible concoction. When you merge group think, that's how the populace perceives and receives information and the conclusions that they make based on it. When you get groupthink and then you mix in the toxicity of what's it called again? I'm forgetting what it was. When you get one person who starts talking and they start talking loud, and then people, the mob mentality. One person in the group just starts talking, and then like people start agreeing to something. Like you're in a crowd of no's. You're in a crowd of no's, but you just stay staunch, and you're like yes, yes, yes. Well, little by little, all the people who are like no, 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 no. Little by little, you start getting one person might say yes, and it might take you a long time, but then you might get a second person that says yes. And let's say you die, but you left a group of people, you left two people that have said yes, and then they can grow and it can grow and it can grow. And mob mentality can mix and pollute group think. Now, when I'm talking about group think, I'm talking about our as a group, as otaku, as otaku, and as otaku who go to anime conventions. We have a standard. Otaku have a standard. All right. If you're going to go to an anime convention, do not take a picture of somebody who's in cosplay and they're half naked. Don't take a picture of them that when they're half naked without asking them, because that's not cool. That's disrespectful and that's dirty and that's not cool. What? Well, Gazy, they're half naked. Why can't I? It's disrespectful to take a picture of somebody that's dressed as an anime character that is half naked. And because you're getting cheap shots, and it's very gross, and it's cryptic. It's not clean. So you have that, right? We as a otaku can agree that is a thing. That's a thing that we all practice. Let me look at the top messages. All messages are visible. There we go. So we agree that taking a picture of somebody is without their consent, their visual, audible consent. That's not cool. It's also not cool as anime fans to run up and randomly hug a stranger. You don't know if someone has been violated or disrespected physically in their body, and they have trigger points on their body. I'm not talking about like, I'm talking about things that I know that they have, they're guarded, and you go and you hug them or whatever, and you bring back a horrible memory from their past. Don't go to anime conventions and do that. And but there's more things that are going on, guys. Besides, of course, not like not ruining a panel, of course. Like if a panel is about if a panel is about Dragon Ball Z, don't go to a Dragon Ball Z panel and start talking about Inuyasha. For goodness sakes, just stay. Understand there are rules. One of the rules that anime fans never established, we never did. And if we did, comments in the comments section. One thing that we never talked about is respecting the talent. Okay, I've seen fangirls get on the talent, and it's like, what are you doing? You're 15 years old. You're 17 years old. You're married. I see these things, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, now you're making the professional. You're ruining it. You're making that professional like, oh, I can't do this anymore because this has happened. I'm a married person. I can't do this anymore. And it's like, you cannot do that. The fans in the anime realm, and I'm not talking about the ones who have um, have been in pictures and stuff with Vic Mignogna. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about you and myself. We need to behave ourselves, not just with one another, but with the anime, but with the fandom. So, Katie K Chan cosplay, thank you for your wonderful comment. Continue watching Full Metal Alchemist or Oran High School. Well, anything that Vic Mignogna was in, I'm gonna keep on watching. I never really liked Oran, but Full Metal Alchemist is in my library, and it will always be in my library. Um, and that's all I got. If you wanted to say anything, guys, I wish I can actually see who is in the watching. If you're watching, I just want to say thank you for sticking around as long as you did. And I hope you can check out stuff on my channel because I talk about, like, I talked about me buying a cosplay, like a Vegeta, the pink Vegeta shirt that says Bad Man. I got some anime content on my channel, SayGeizi. I got some like book things. I'm actually like, ugh, I'm actually doing a lot of reading. This is Castle of Otranto. This is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I have a book club going on in my channel, and I have a lot of other stuff because I've decided to make my channel about me. And I don't have ASMR videos. I don't smash things. I don't throw things through hoops very accurately. And I just do me, and I do myself, and I don't do myself. So I just that's it. That's pretty much it. That's a live stream. I appreciate everybody who's watching and stuff. So like, share, subscribe, and make your conclusions and deductions about what Vic Mignogna did or what he didn't do. I don't know. So my name's Gazy, and remember, SayGeizi.